r/ask Reddit. What's the most ducked up thing that your country has done? I'm from Germany. I cannot think of anything we did wrong. You destroyed Brazil 7-1. Elected a government, made a riot about it, wanted a new election and then elected the same government. PS. It's Croatia. PPS. So many guesses it's getting scary. Another PS. So many people bringing up Jasenovac. Yes, it's ducked up, but no, I don't count that as current Croatia. There used to be these massive forests filled with trees called kauri. These things were giants, like cathedral pillars, growing up to thousands of years old. Their entire trunks were branchless and they fell straight into the role of New Zealand's first economy. Within 40 years they were all but gone. Today we can go and see a couple of them in one small section of forest. It's not genocide scale ducked up, but when you see pictures of smiling colonists standing on a harbour full of floating logs, it's pretty ducking sad. New Zealand is a story of this shit. We have a reputation for our environment when in fact our forests have been so thoroughly decimated it's almost impossible to tell what is missing. The only regions where meaningful sections survived were too wet to burn, or Mountain Beach, which is not a great timber. Not to mention there is now kauri dieback disease that is threatening the remaining trees, made worse by people straying off the paths, potentially spreading the disease to further trees. I am greatly saddened by the loss of our kauri forests. They are beautiful trees. Our king killed somewhere between 115 million Africans, Congo, and when they wanted to become independent, we had their prime minister assassinated a few decades after we lost our colony in sunny Africa. Some dude and his wife decided it was a pretty good idea to kidnap and rape little girls after he had initially been arrested and sentenced. Our amazing justice system decided it was a smart idea to release him and his new wife after a few years. When he got out, he claimed disability, getting a government pension and access to a bunch of sleeping pills and sedatives. He used these to kidnap and rape a few more little girls, with the help of his wife, even though psychiatrists and prison staff, and even his own mother, said it wasn't a smart idea to release him. He had only been released for about 4 years before they brought him back, and along with his wife, and sentenced them in 2004, a few years ago. His wife has been released, even though there was a massive protest to not do it, and in a few years, he will probably be released as well. Hide you kids. Also, his wife was an accomplice. When police searched their house, she knew about 2 girls locked up in the basement but didn't say anything. Those girls starved to death while she went out and prayed for their rescue. Between 1933 and 1945 nothing happened here. Sincerely, Germany. Regarding the Fanta thing, we didn't have much of a choice after eliminating all the juice. Oh come now, you invented Fanta, didn't you? Fanta, when you are thirsty, we are your final solution. Britain, where to ducking start? Cliff Richard, Imo, or the abomination that is number one? For me it's the Opium Wars, because there isn't even a defense that some of these people were well-meaning, if racist, trying to bring civilization and good economic practice, that they had noble goals, even if the methods were brutal and misguided. It's literally we're running low on cash. Let's become a giant heroin dealer. It's like that conspiracy theory that the CIA got the ghettos addicted to crack, except it was open foreign policy on a massive scale. Spent 27 mil just talking about changing the flag. You guys really did that the wrong way around. First you should have asked the people if they wanted to actually change the thing, then move on to a design phase. I think the 27 mil was used asking us. PM at the time had already decided what design he wanted. There's currently talks of 15 mil being spent on a Captain Cook celebration. NZ is not a smart country sometimes. Australia stole the half-caste, mixed race, indigenous children from their parents in an effort to assimilate them into a more white society from about the 1900s to 1970s, leaving thousands of Aboriginal kids with no connection to their parents or their culture, creating what is known as the stolen generation. Canada did this too, called them residential schools, except all First Nations, not just the half-caste. White Australia policy. If you tried to immigrate to Australia and weren't white, they would make you do an English test. If you passed that, you would be forced to take a French test, then Spanish, Italian, etc. until you finally failed one and were deemed unable to enter Australia due to language issues. I was just at the Immigration Museum in Melbourne today. They had an interactive dictation test where you had to write down what was spoken to you without mistakes. English is my first language and even I struggled with the quick pace of the dictation. Honestly, what we did to the Native Americans wasn't cool. Like, really not cool. American, Spanish, Canadian, Portuguese, Mexican. Island. We introduced Bono to the world. Residential schools. Canada? Yup, last one closed in 1996. Replaced Arnott's pizza shapes with a new, inferior formulation. Fortunately, after a nationwide tantrum in which I am proud to say I partook, they recanted and now sell an originals line alongside the new abominations. I am from Turkey and for the last 13 years everything is ducked up. I'm just here to make sure Canada takes ownership of K'Lau. My personal vote, when American troops liberated Nazi death camps, they handed the gay prisoners back to the German prison system rather than freeing them. Pretty much all concentration camp survivors stayed in the camps for another 1-2 years, nowhere for most of them to go. Here in Australia we have a certain thing called the NBN. We fear those two words more than anything else. Chinese here, a bunch of things. Banned all free speech websites, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, deleted videos criticizing the Chinese government and deleted some really serious videos about the problems in China. Oh yeah, and also kidnapped some people who were talking shit in China. Nothing much. Voted in a president that thinks you can't contract AIDS if you take a shower after sex. South Africa. Alexander the Great's campaigns, I suppose. That dude must have killed a lot of people, though I'm not sure if something that happened millennia ago should count. Canadian here. The native population was treated pretty badly up until a few decades ago. Probably that one time we decided it would be fun to divert food produced in the Raj to the rest of the empire, thereby causing the Bengal famine. I mean, beyond that, it caused the famine. The fact that it was semi-deliberate, with Churchill stating something akin to, "It doesn't matter if a million of them starve. They breed like rabbits anyway," sullied my respect for the man a little, to say the least. Treating the indigenous population very badly and imprisoning asylum seekers on offshore detention sites where they are abused and held indefinitely. That's the first thing to come to mind, but there's more. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.